Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. My name is Mikhail Tinubu. I am your host on the show this morning. And of course, I am joined by the estimable Seun Ajidagba here on the show to help me discuss some of these boiling stories, for lack of a better word. Seun, good morning.
Good morning, Mikhail. It's a pleasure joining you always on Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. Good morning to our wonderful viewers.
Thank you so much. You know, I like to talk. I like to
You have
when I have
1 minute.
when I have a guest on the show, I like to talk about what it means to discuss certain stories, and certain stories they spark a conversation to a degree that you just have to have a dialogue about them. And for the last few months, something has been going on at my favorite club, many people's favorite club, Chelsea Football Club, and unfortunately, the calls have rang out at every single match for Graham Potter to be fired. Under fire, Chelsea coach Potter says he and his players are excited by the task of overturning a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League last 16. Chelsea host high-flying Dortmund, who have won all 11 matches they have played in 2023. On Tuesday, match 6th, off the back of a first win in 7 weeks. On Saturday, Chelsea claimed a stuttering 1-0 victory over struggling Leeds United in the Premier League, and with focus quickly switching to European football, Potter revealed he and his players are excited by the challenge in front of them. Potter, who took over last September, has been under enormous pressure after a string of defeats and colourless draws. Having only managed 24 goals in 25 games, Potter has faith that scoring more than once in a match is around the corner. So many people have been calling for him to be sacked, Graham Potter not being good enough, not being tactically astute enough. And some have even accused him of not being angry enough, not having the personality to manage a club the size of Chelsea Football Club. Is Graham Potter just not the personality, the type of manager, the type of head coach that Chelsea Football Club require?
You can argue for or against on some of the summations that you just read out this morning. I've always said that you don't necessarily have to be brute or wear a hard face before your players to be able to decipher the kind of tactics you want them to play. I'll give you an example. One of the most erratic coaches I've seen is Marcelo Bielsa. But what happened? He got sacked for all the things he was doing. I remember then in 2002 World Cup, Nigeria was in the same group with Argentina, England, Sweden, and of course, England. But guess what? The coach that was running from the length to the breadth of the field got knocked out in the group stage. The Argentines. And Sven-Goran Eriksson, that will only sit and will not run up and down, got into the knockout stage. Adegboye Gaonigbide, there are a lot of people complained that wasn't playing too much, also got out in the knockout stage. The disposition of Carlo Ancelotti, you will see that he's a manager that is successful, but hardly will you find him running up and down.
But
He's usually very calm.
But aside
On
from
the part of Graham Potter, what I want to say, there are some coaches that are good for that mid-table team. And one of such is Graham Potter. He said something very instructive. I have too many players that I'm working with. It's giving me a lot of confusion. So for Graham Potter, sacking him, I tell you what, Michael, they will part away with £50 million because he signed a 6-year contract. Don't forget also that Chelsea had to pay £22 million to take him away from Brighton and Hove Albion down to Stamford Bridge. And he was given a 2-match ultimatum. First one he passed against Leeds United. But you say, where is Leeds United? they are struggling with relegation murky waters.
Yeah.
But now they are meeting an
But
opposition
but
that is
Seun,
very, very
but
tough.
Seun, first of all, regarding his disposition, I don't think as much as what people are expecting of him is to run up and down the pitch. I think, and when you see managers like Pep Guardiola, Eric Ten Hag, Jurgen Klopp, when the team loses because of a lack of energy, a lack of commitment on the pitch, you know that these managers go into the dressing room and lay into these players. He doesn't seem, Graham Potter that is, doesn't seem like the kind of manager who's ever going to raise his voice. He might, and one of the qualities that was stated as being the reason why they loved him so much, the Chelsea board, why they thought he would be a perfect fit, was because of his degree in psychology, human psychology, and understanding how to motivate players. But he doesn't strike someone as the kind of manager who can alternate between the soft touch and the hairdresser treatment when the players desperately need it.
I want to agree with you this morning, Mika, but I just also want to say something. That while you have said those things that, for instance, United were trounced, battered, annihilated, tortured, and decimated by their rival Liverpool, which was the worst performance for them in 91 or 92 years. Because the last time this happened, Sir Alex Ferguson was not even born. That was in 1931. But guess what? What happened yesterday? Eric Ten Hag got to Carrington at 7 a.m. and told them, guys, we are going to, the distance you didn't cover in the second half against Liverpool, you all are going to cover it today. He did the same thing to them when they lost against Brentford, which was the 4-0 thumping. He said they failed to cover 13.8 kilometers. And that 13.8 kilometers, they are going to cover it by jogging on the field. So I understand where you are coming from. But again, one of my lecturers used to tell me that the best style of leadership is not autocratic, is not democratic, is not laissez-faire, is not multidimensional, is not multi-transformational and multi-transactional. That the best style of leadership is situational. Situation will determine what you are going to do. And desperate times call for desperate measures. When results are not going your way, you need to apply that brute attitude.
What are the chances of Chelsea getting a result against Dortmund this evening?
They are playing against Dortmund that have not dropped a point since the start of the World Cup. In actual fact, Mika, I can tell you that the best team after the World Cup happened in Qatar has been Dortmund. So it's going to be difficult for Chelsea. Yes, Karim Adeyemi, the Fufu boy, is not playing, but Marco Reus, Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Emre Can are going to cause problems for Chelsea. And Chelsea are not scoring much goals.